Hello, lovelies, and welcome back to Muse. I'm your host. This episode has been sitting in my spirit. It has been yelling at me. It has been just tugging on some memory strings. And not loudly, nor was it like in a dramatic way. It just happens when I'm thinking in silence. It pops up. So it's quietly just tapping on my heart. It started with a thought, a simple one. How about I'm trying to get this degree, trying to move forward in life, trying to build something that feels like mine. And how sometimes, even when you're doing the right thing, it's like you're dragging your whole bloodline behind you. And then I started rewatching some Tyler Perry movies. The older ones, like Medea's Family Reunion, Medea's Christmas, all those Tyler Perry Medea movies. And listen, those films tap into this topic. Just so it taps into the topic in a way that you're reminded about them, right? These films remind you about generational curses. And they aren't just spiritual concepts, they're reality. They're things real people struggle with. There are families that actually do this. Rather, it's push their kids into a toxic job, push them into a toxic relationship, push them with toxic expectations. This happened, and so you have to do it this way. All because that's what they knew. In the Medea movie I watched, in the Medea Christmas, it was about, it slowly became about a mom who forced her daughter. Her mom was a helicopter mom. If you've never watched Medea, it's about a daughter who's grown, lives in the countryside, and the movie, where it started to feel like, oh, you know what's happening, is when the mom calls and this man answers the phone, and it's a man with a lighter voice, a farmer, a white man. So he has that accent, and the mom hangs up, or not hang up, but the mom is like, I keep calling the wrong number because I'm calling for my daughter, and who's this man answering the phone? Like, who are you? And the daughter comes in, and the guy's like, it's your mom. And you can feel like when they said it's your mom, her something about the presence of just the film shift. You knew something is gonna happen with the mom. Push forward, push forward. The mom is in this expectation that the daughter, as you watch the movie, you learn that the mom never wanted her daughter to be with a white man because her mindset was stuck on disliking white people. And it's a hard topic. There's some generational trauma between cultures, between skin colors. That is a generational curse for some. And you eventually learn that the reason the mom had this deep resentment was because her husband left her for a white woman. And in order to keep herself together and keep her daughter together, she lied to her daughter saying that he was killed by one. On Christmas, of all things. So the daughter grew up thinking that the mom held resentment because of her dad dying, when in reality, the mom was having resentment against the fact that her husband, a black man, left her and her 2-year-old child for a white woman. And that's where the curse would have started. If it wasn't for the daughter saying, I've given you everything, but I'm not giving you my happiness. I've given you my happiness growing up, but as an adult, it's my turn. First, she was trying to hide it from her mom, which, don't hide it. If you're gonna break something, break it with confidence. Say, no, just because you're mad at the fact that that's what my dad did to you, doesn't mean, even if he was, honestly, even if he was killed by a white man. Times are changing. We're Things are changing. Not everyone is the same. Not everyone suffers the same. Not everyone heals the same. No two people are the same in context. There's always something that's going to be different. So she was going to marry her husband, who we find out is her husband in the movie, and she was hiding that from her mom. But with her doing that, she broke something. What if, let's look on the flip side then. What if she had decided to keep believing her mom and not choose her happiness? What if she decided, my mom is right, right? My father was killed by a white man. I should not be with a white man. And that's how I'm going to live my life. What? That's the what ifs. What if that's how the movie went? Right? And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about breaking generational curses. And it isn't just about praying. It's not only about praying, but it's also about doing. It's about choosing a life your family never modeled for you. So, yes, prayer is one part of it, but some things you have to also take into your hands. You can pray and get the answer, but unless you actually use that answer, you're not going to break curses. If that makes sense, right? Right. It's not like God's gonna physically come and put his hands on your family member and say, stop doing that. Sometimes he's using you to be the hands that he wanna put on them and say, stop doing that. Maybe it starts with you. And in all honesty, it's gonna be a battle. And it's not gonna be easy. Generational curses don't always look like warcraft, witchcraft, spiritual battles, obiya, voodoo. Like, it doesn't always look like that because generational, right? It's something that you're seeing in your family. So you just assume that's it. You assume that's how it is. That's what it is. You're not assuming anything else. You're not assuming, well, what if I did it differently? You're assuming we're poor, so I'm gonna be poor. We're below poverty. I'm gonna always live like that. I'm on section 8, so I'm always gonna be on section 8. Like, you're not gonna see it as it truly is. It can even come as small words, like get a job with benefits and don't complain. Stay in that relationship. At least he provides. We don't do therapy. Just survive. Don't dream too big. Or the one that everybody has probably heard is, this is how our family is. You grow up thinking that's just normal at this point because you keep hearing these phrases. You grow up thinking settle is stability, settling is stability. You grow up thinking silence is strength. You grow up thinking struggle is loyalty. You're staying loyal to your family because you're also struggling just like them. But then you get older and you start to feel this pull in your chest, this quiet voice saying, I don't want this. I don't want to repeat this. I don't want to pass this down. And that is the moment the curse begins to crack. It begins to reveal itself. You begin to look into yourself and you're saying, well, I don't want this. And 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of us had this. I don't want it. I want something else. I don't want my kids to have this. So I need to start now. And there's the pressure of being the one to want more. When you're the first one in your family to want something different, rather it's a degree, a healthier relationship, rather it's a peaceful home, a healed mind, it feels like rebellion. It feels like you're going against what you were grown to do, what you were raised in. It feels like you're betraying the script your family gave to you or handed to you. And they don't always understand They'll say things that will probably trigger you. Things like, why don't you just get a regular job? Or, you're doing too much. You think you're better than us? That's not realistic. We've always done it this way. But here's the truth, you're not trying to be better than anybody. You're trying to be better than the pattern, than the cycle, than the lifestyle that was thrown onto you. And that's heavy. And it's a lot of responsibility. The curse might not always be a demon. Sometimes it's a mindset. Sometimes the curse is fear. Settling, silence, shame. Maybe it's yourself kicking into survival mode. Maybe you have emotional numbness. Staying where you're tolerated or staying where you feel comfortable. Believing that you don't deserve more is also a mindset. Sometimes the curse is the belief that you're supposed to struggle because everyone before you did. But God did not call you to repeat the same pain. He did not call you to keep the same struggle. He did not call you to be silent when everyone else was. He called you to heal it. Isaiah 43:19 says, "Behold, I am doing a new thing." And sometimes the new thing is you. And one thing I've learned is the enemy doesn't need to create new traps. If you are stuck in the same cycle, see, the enemy loves familiar pain. He loves seeing the things get redone and redone because that's his job. His job is to trap you. So if you're stuck in this same generational curse, the same pattern that your mom had, that your grandma had, that your great grandma had, that as the generation goes back, he just simply takes the same traps that he used for your grandma, your great grandma, your great 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 grandma, and he uses it on you because he knows it works. If your grandma struggled with silence, your mother struggled with silence. And now he knows you're bound to struggle with silence because that was the pattern that he had seen in your family before, and that is the pattern he's going to keep using on you until you break it. The enemy will whisper, "This is just who you are. This is just who you are. This is who you are." If your family stayed in toxic relationships, he'll whisper, "You don't deserve better. This is what your mom did. This is what your grandma did. This is what your great great grandma did. And so you don't deserve any better. This is where you need to be." If your family worked themselves to the bone in jobs that they've hated, then he'll whisper, "Just be grateful that you have a job. Just be grateful you have a roof over your head. Just be grateful you have a plate with food on it. Don't dream big. Don't dream at all. Just stay where you are." But the enemy is the biggest liar. John 8:36 says, "Whom the Son sets free is free indeed." Freedom doesn't always feel like shouting. Sometimes it feels like choosing differently. And to many people, or maybe to yourself, breaking these curses might look like a small, quiet choice. It doesn't need to be loud. People think breaking a generational curse is dramatic. Like a movie moment. In the movies, bam, this is what happened. Bam, yeah, big difference. And you see the changes right then and there. But that's the ironic about it. A movie is meant to show it happening fast, to hide the truth behind reality. But most of the time, it can be simply going to therapy, choosing a degree your family doesn't understand, leaving a relationship that looks stable but feels wrong, saying no to family pressure, resting when your family glorified burnout, choosing peace over tradition, refusing to repeat what hurt you, learning emotional skills that no one taught you, breaking silence and eventually, and also telling the truth. Breaking a curse is not about perfection, it's about interruption. Every time you choose healing over habit, you interrupt that curse. And there's another thing about being a cycle breaker, and it's probably the loneliness that you're gonna get when you're trying to break these cycles. Because let's be honest, being the one to break the curse can seem and can be very lonely. You're fighting battles that your parents have never fought. And maybe they tried to fight it, but they gave up. You're healing wounds didn't create, that you didn't create, that didn't get created by you, and that was probably given to you. You're building a life you've never seen modeled. Maybe you've seen it modeled, but not in your family. Right? You see it on the TVs, you see it in other families, but then you look at your own and you realize maybe I don't know what me being successful looks like. I don't know what me having a degree looks like because you've never seen it in your own family. You're carrying the responsibility of future generations. And this is the part that can be heavy. The fact that you're going to break a cycle that's going to be passed on to future generations. That they're going to see that you broke a cycle. And maybe it's getting out of poverty. Your kids are going to be born into the fact that you got out of poverty. So now they're not going to be in poverty because you broke that cycle. You showed them the right way to do things so that it's their decision to choose whether or not they want to be in poverty or they want to live outside of it. It's heavy, it's exhausting, it's spiritual warfare. It's also sacred because God trusts cycle breakers. God made a promise to us, the ones who do break the patterns. Joel 2:25, I will restore the years the locust has eaten. Psalms 147:3, He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Isaiah 61:1, He has sent me to proclaim freedom on the captives. God sees the weight you carry. He sees the tears you cry. He sees the battles you fight in silence. He sees the courage it takes to choose differently. And He also says that this ends with you. If you're listening to this and you feel the heaviness of your family story, if you feel the pressure of being the first one to want more, if you feel the loneliness of choosing a life your family never showed you, you are not in the wrong. You are not being dramatic, and you are definitely not being ungrateful. You are breaking what broke them. You are healing what hurt them. You are choosing what they never had the chance to choose. You are the new thing God is doing. This is Wild Muse, a soft place to grow, a quiet place to land, a gentle place to begin again. And thank you for listening. If you end here, ta ta. But if you stay for the prayer like we always do at the end of every episode, stick around. Let's just have a moment of silence or two, and then we'll get into it. Father God, you are amazing, and your never ending love shows that you love us day in and day out, that you shower us with your love and show us mercy every day, and we thank you. Today, we come to you as cycle breakers, as the ones standing in the middle of what we were born into and what we refuse to pass down. We see the weight we carry, we see the pressure of trying to build a life that doesn't look like the one we came from. You see every moment. You see all the moments we're trying to do to get this degree, to get this job, to get this house, the kid, the money. You see it all. Trying to follow the dreams you placed in our hearts. Trying to move forward even when it feels like we're dragging generations behind us. You see the patterns we grew up around, the toxic jobs, the survival mindsets, the just stay and deal with it relationships, the silence, the fear, the settling, the emotional numbness. God, the cycles that play out in our families like scenes from a movie we didn't choose to be in. And God, we don't want that life. We don't want to repeat what broke them. We don't want to inherit pain and call it normal. We don't want to pass down wounds disguised as wisdom. So today we ask you for strength. Strength to choose differently. Strength to walk away what doesn't honor you. Strength to pursue the dreams you planted in us. Even when our families don't understand them, God. We ask for strength to break silence, to heal the trauma, to rewrite the stories. God, every curse, break it. Break every chain that tried to claim us. Break every mindset that told us to settle, that told us we weren't good enough, that told us to be quiet and stay where you are. Break every generational pattern that convinced us. Break every lie that told us we weren't worthy for more, that we weren't enough, that we weren't good enough. Break every pattern that tried to convince us the struggle is our inheritance. The struggle is something that we are born into. Replace it with your truth. Replace it with your peace. Replace it with your visions for our lives. Replace it with the future you designed, not the one our family survived. And God, heal the parts of us that still feel guilty for wanting better. Heal the parts that feel disloyal for dreaming bigger. Heal the parts that feel lonely in the journey. The parts that are tired of being the strong ones. Remind us that we are not breaking these curses by ourselves. That you are with us, that you are before us, that you stand with us, that you fight for us. Remind us that you chose this for us. You chose us for this, not to burden us, but to set us free. Thank you for trusting us with the new beginning. Thank you for giving us the courage to be the first. Thank you for giving us the strength to be the one who changes everything. Because this ends with us and new life begins with us. Amen.